Hello, everyone. Welcome to the University of Hartford's conversation about the Hillyer Advantage. I'm so excited to have you all joining us tonight to hear more about the program. Before we get started, I want to introduce Nicole. Nicole, can you introduce yourself, say who you are? Nicole is perhaps one of the most important people to know in your admissions process.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Dean Brown. My name is Nicole Mazzarella, and I am the admission manager for Hillyer College as well as the College of Arts and Sciences. We're really excited to have you with us tonight. You're going to hear a lot of great things from Dean Brown as well as four Hillyer students that we have with us. But in general, as Dean Brown said, if you have anything that you need throughout the admission process, please feel free to reach out to me. And before the end of this tonight, I'll be putting my contact information in the chat.
Thank you. So to start, just to talk a little bit about what the Hillyer Advantage is, this is a program that we have at the University of Hartford that supports our students at the very basic level. Studies show that students do well when they're in small groups and in learning communities. So this program was established to help support students. Our classes are very small. Each class is about 13 to 18 students. In a traditional University of Hartford class, you will have up to 25 students in your class. This is much smaller. Math classes are capped at 15. And we do this because we understand that math is one of those areas where individuals need more attention and more focus. So we offer the opportunity to learn in a much smaller environment. All of our students in the Hillyer Advantage program participate in a first-year seminar learning community. And what this means is that in your first year, your courses, at least two of your courses are connected to each other. So a learning community means that the instructors of those courses are meeting together to help to build curriculum for you, but also to support you. So if you're finding a challenge in one of your courses, your learning community faculty will help you to make connections. It's also an opportunity for you to make friends. One of the great things that I'm sure our students will get touch on this a little bit is the idea that as you take classes with students and build relationships, you also build an academic support system that helps you to be successful. Our Hillyer faculty teach and advise. So a really important part of your college experience, whether you come to the University of Hartford or whatever institution you pick, is to have a strong relationship with your faculty who teach you in the classroom, but also advise you and support you outside of the classroom. Our Hillyer faculty serve as your faculty mentor in your first year. You're also assigned to a faculty advisor, a first-year advisor in the Center for Student Success. And this is a course that teaches you about the transition from high school to college. So what is different about the college classroom than the high school classroom? What are expectations that are different from a college professor than a high school professor? Teaches you about things like what is a registrar? What is a bursar? So it helps you to adapt to the college environment and helps you to be successful. The curriculum also includes study skills and career exploration. One of the challenges I think for students who are transitioning from high school to college is understanding that it really is a different way of studying. In the college classroom, the expectation is that for every hour you spend in the classroom, we're expecting that you're spending 3 hours studying outside of the classroom. And so this class will help you to understand and prepare what that should look like and how you can better be a student. We also have a dedicated study center and writing lab where students can go to get access to any support that they need. So in the writing lab, this is staffed by faculty from the English department in Hillyer. So you're getting help from the faculty who are teaching you in the classroom. It helps you at all skill levels. So at any time during your 2 years as a Hillyer College Advantage student, you can go to the center to get help with writing for your English classes, but also for other classes that will require you to write papers as well. So you can bring any writing assignment to the center and they will help. We have a tutoring center where we have paid peer tutoring. And so if you are also a student who's excelling in a course, you have the opportunity to work as a tutor in the tutoring center. And you also have the opportunity to go there and sign up for a tutor if you're struggling. So for example, if math is not your friend, and I'm an English professor, so math is not my friend. And so having a place where you can go to ask for help and support for areas where you're struggling is really important. The faculty who are there, they know what the assignments are, they know what the expectations are, and they will help you to be successful. All of the students in Hillyer also take a academic strategies course. There's two, one in your fall semester and another course in your spring semester. And this course is really established to help you adjust to college. It helps you to figure out what are the best note-taking skills that are going to work for you. How is note-taking different in the college classroom than it is in the high school classroom? The content that we're delivering to you in a college classroom there's much more content, there's much more reading. How do you organize yourself? And these two courses are established to help you figure that out. Perhaps the biggest challenge in the college environment, and I'm sure the students will talk about this as well, is time management. In high school, it's very much you're aware you get up, I think strangely, you start at like 7:30, some strange odd time in the morning, and you're done at 3. In the college classroom, our classes are primarily Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday classes for an hour and a half each. And so you have much more free time. How do you manage your time to get your studying done? Join the clubs and organizations you want to be part of, and then also make sure that you're successful. The courses also help with goal setting, how to read a textbook, how to write well, and how to think critically. This is a course that will support the other courses that you're taking while you're a Hillyer student. So the Hillyer College is a dual admissions program. So when you apply to the University of Hartford, you're applying to a very specific program in a college. There are 7 colleges here. We have arts and sciences, business, education, nursing, and health professions. Help me out here.
And the College of Engineering, Technology, and Architecture,
Engineering technology.
The Barney School of Business,
Yeah.
our Hartford Art School, and the Hart
Chase
School.
is Chase is like Chase is our admissions guru, so Chase is on top of this. Chase
Yes.
knows. So you may apply to one of those other 6 colleges, and we might recognize that you want to get the support that you can from the Hillyer Advantage. And so if you choose to participate in this program, you are duly admitted. And so you are considered to be a Hillyer student as well as a student in your college of your major. We complete general education requirements for your major. So whether you are a business student or an engineering student, all students have to fulfill general education requirements, and you're able to do that through the Hillyer Advantage program. We offer a very seamless transition out of Hillyer into your program of choice in your junior year. And you also have the opportunity to earn an associate's degree after your 2 years in Hillyer. And this is a great opportunity because having that associate's and you're looking for your summer job, you're looking for work experience, that associate's degree can be very helpful. Seamless transition. So 75% of Hillyer students transition to these different programs. So you can see here, we have primarily the College of Arts and Sciences, where I'm also the dean. We have the majority of our students are entering those spaces, but you have the opportunity to transition to any college at the university. And so we are able to support your interest, whether it's communication, management, elementary education, or mechanical engineering. We are setting you up to be successful in those majors. So how does this all work? We are breaking down the majors. So your total degree for most of the majors is a minimum of 120 credits. And this is true across most majors, except for in the College of Engineering, where they are a little bit higher than those 120 credits. So you're spending about 45 credits of general electives in Hillyer. And then you have some major electives that you're taking in your major, and then you have free electives. So a student who's in Hillyer who is interested in finance will be able to come into the program, take their general elective courses, and also take a finance course in the College of Business. So we're giving you access to the support you get from our faculty in Hillyer, but also giving you access to the courses that you're interested in your major area. Hillyer also offers an honors program. You're able to join the program after your first semester. If you have a 3.0 GPA or higher, you're able to be part of our honors program. It consists of 9 credits of courses, and you can take those courses to transition to the university's honors program, which students participate in across the university. Our classes are not just lectures, there's also a hands-on experience. So we really stress that learning happens both inside and outside of the classroom. And these are just 2 examples of opportunities that you would have to learn outside the classroom. So in the fall semester, our professor of marine biology takes students to Mystic Academy, Mystic Aquarium. Ooh. And you can see from the picture here, these are our students who got to go to the aquarium and pet a penguin. I did not get to go, even though I wanted to go pet the penguin. The other opportunity that we have is that we have a trip each year for our students who are part of our honors program. In the past, the program has gone to Hawaii. I know Chase is going to talk a little bit about his experience in Hawaii. This year, our students will be going to Puerto Rico during spring break. So it's a great opportunity to travel with your fellow students and faculty to a new space. And we do offer scholarships to support students who want to participate in the program.
Dean Brown, can I interrupt you with a question from the chat?
Yes.
Someone had asked, is there a cap on the number of free tutoring hours that a Hillyer student can get each week?
No, there is not. So as much assistance and help as you need, you can go and find it. And also, the tutoring center is there for you, but also faculty will also be available. So all of our faculty have standing office hours up to 5 hours and beyond. If you walk through the halls of Hillier, the faculty are always there, doors are open. So you can get assistance, not just in the tutoring center during those hours, but you can also go to a faculty's office and get assistance there as well. So defining your own pace. So students typically in a college environment are registering for up to 15 to 18 credits in a semester. And so one of the things that we do here is establish that you can take courses at your pace. So if you're a student for whom 12 credits works, we will figure out how to support you through summer and short-term courses over the winter so that you still meet the requirements every year to transition from a sophomore to from a freshman to a sophomore, from a sophomore to a junior. And there are no tradition tuition charges over 36 credits. So typically for our non-Hillyer students, if they're taking classes during the summer, there's a cost associated with that. But in Hillyer, we allow you to take up to 36 credits without additional costs.
We had a follow-up question to the tutoring,
Yes.
asking if there's a dedicated tutoring space for Hillyer students, or do you need to arrange sessions with a tutor?
No, we have a dedicated tutoring center in Hillyer. It has computers in there. There's some tables that are set up for support. So a tutor would designated space. There is also tutoring outside of Hillyer that is open to the entire university community, so you're able to have access to that as well. And so if for some reason your schedule is such that maybe you're working and you can't access the center, you can also reach out to the university tutoring center and set up an appointment there as well. The other service that we have to support you is our accessibility services. So a lot of students who are coming out of college, you have your accommodations from high school. Please make sure that you come and see us and establish a relationship with our accessibility services offices. They will get you documentation. They will ensure that our faculty know what accommodations you need. And the way that it works here is really quite simple. Once you're registered with an office of accessibility, each semester, a faculty member gets an email that says, Joe Smith is registered for your course. Here are the accommodations that they have. And every faculty member keeps that in confidence and they make sure that you reach out to them, they reach out to you and establish that you have the support that you need. It's just about starting a conversation with us and we'll give you the support that you will need.
All right. Well, thank you, Dean Brown. That was a great overview of Hillyer. But I think what most of you want to hear from tonight is our students. So we're going to go through a couple different topics with you. We have four wonderful students on with us today. And before we get into some of those, I'd like each of them to take a minute just to introduce themselves. Jolene, do you want to kick us off?
Hi, my name's Jolene. I'm a sophomore, so I'm graduating in 2027. I'm a psych major and I'm currently working on a minor in human services.
Frederica, I know you have a little bit of difficulty where you are. Are you able to turn on your mic?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, my name is Frederica and I'm class of 2026. My major is health sciences, so I used to be in Hillyer, but now I'm in ENHP. And a fun fact about me is that I skipped a grade.
All right, I'm Chase. I'm a senior Time flew by. So definitely take advantage of Hillyer, all of its wonderful support systems. They were really helpful for me personally. I'm majoring in sociology with a minor in gender studies, and a fun fact is I'm an active second degree black belt in Taekwondo.
I'm Serenity. I'm a sophomore and my major is biochem. Okay, well, actually, no offense to whoever made this, but I did change a major, so it's just bio, but it's pre-med. So, and I'm a big fancy doctor. Y'all can come and find me.
I can't keep up with you, Serenity. So I would like for each of our students to talk a little bit about making that transition into Hillyer as well as to college. It can be a really big moment. And part of what the advantages of starting in Hillyer is that we can help to make that transition a little bit easier. Serenity, can I start with you actually, because you had a unique start in Hillyer, actually starting within our College of Arts and Sciences and then coming into Hillyer. Could you talk a little bit about that transition, what it was like, and how you felt supported?
I can. Okay, so I started in arts and sciences because, as I said, I'm a biochem major, and when I came into college, I was like really good in high school, so I thought it was going to be like the same thing in college, and I thought I was going to come here and be superwoman, and that was not the case. It was really hard, and um, it was really hard. And then my advisor told me about like Hillyer, and she thought it would be like a good start because I wasn't a bad student. I just needed like a slower pace to kind of ease myself into it because the college workload is very different from a high school workload. Not in a bad way, just in a way that like challenges you more than you think it would when you first start. So she recommended me to Hillyer, and I joined. I joined my second semester freshman year, so I can't think of the dates, but it was around that time. And when I started there, I was actually really like nervous to start because my first semester was really scary and like intimidating. But when I started, it honestly wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was really good actually. It gave me a lot of confidence that I lost in my first semester being in arts and sciences. So it was nice to like get that confidence back and feel like really good in myself academic wise. So yeah.
Thank you. Jolene, can you talk a little bit about just in general what the transition from high school, excuse me, into college, into Hillyer was for you?
Yeah. Yeah, so when I was in high school, I was pretty intimidated to go to college because in high school I had a 504 plan and I was a good student, but I did struggle in classes and had to ask for extra help. But and I was very unsure of the workload, but I found that the workload for my major, I'm a psych major, is very manageable. And I was asking my friends and they said that like no matter the major in Hilliard, they are very understanding that people have different workloads and that it's nothing to stress about. Like, especially because there is somewhat of a difference between high school teachers and college professors. You have your faculty advisor, which helps you like understand your workload, understand what you need to do, understand your requirements. And then you have all your other professors that you can really go to while in high school. Not that I didn't feel supported, but I feel like it was harder to reach out to them because you sat down and you did the assignments that you were given. While a lot of college professors, if you're like, I need to slow down, like this is happening, I'm having workload in the other classes, they're very understanding and can work with you about it. So I definitely feel like all the professors in Hillyer very much look out for you and your well-being.
Chase, did you want to talk a little bit about your transition in? I know you had a unique situation coming from a very, very small high school. So our smaller class sizes, I think, helped in your transition.
Yes, for sure. So I've been going to very small schools since seventh grade now. So if you want to put it in perspective, my high school was less than 50 people entirely, and I was a graduating class of 14. So thinking about college and going into college, it was very daunting thinking about, having lecture halls with hundreds of people or classes with 30 or 40 people. I mean, being that was basically my school population. So that was very intimidating. But when I found Hillyer, they really emphasize the smaller classes. They really emphasize that one-on-one attention with your professor. they're always there to help you. Like the other people said, you ask them a question, they'll slow down, they'll repeat themselves in class. Um, and with the smaller classes, it definitely did help continuing that because when I was thinking about colleges, I was like I said before, I'm gonna have huge classes, but then Hillyer was definitely the reason why I chose UHeart because of the support system and all of the resources they have.
Thank you. I would like to stay on the topic of small class sizes for a minute. Serenity, can you talk a little bit about how that small class sizes was helpful to you once you've made that move into Hillyer?
Okay, so as Chase prefaced, like it is very intimidating to think about it because when I came in, I'm sure y'all have seen like those movies about like colleges and the classrooms be big as ever, filled with about 1,000 kids, and I was so nervous for that. But in Hillier, it's really not like that. Because okay, when you think about a class being filled with like hundreds of kids all in one lecture, you get so nervous, like ask a question or like raise your hand or ask for clarification, whatever the case may be. So the smaller class sizes is very like I don't want to say intimate, that's the word I'm gonna use, because you just feel like it's smaller, so you feel kind of like connect with everyone. And you can like ask a question or ask to like have something repeated or get clarification, whatever the case may be. You don't feel as like bad, like you're like stopping a whole room full of people or whatever, because you're not. And then since they're so small, you can like it's so small, so like you get more personal with your professor faster. Like I take a bio class this semester, and my professor, I thought he was very intimidating at first because he just seems all about his business. And like I said, I struggled a lot when I was in A&S my first semester, so I had a little bit of PTSD. But eventually, I worked with the courage, and I just took a couple deep breaths, and I went up to him, and I went to his office hours, and I was so scared, y'all. I was shaking, but it was not that. It was very good. And we started meeting 2 times a week, and I did great in my class. And me and him are besties now. And in my English class, it's very, very, very discussion based. Like we have discussions the whole class period every day. And at first, I was really scared because I get a little nervous when it comes to like speaking my ideas to other people. Because it's like, what if they don't agree, or like, what if I say something that don't make sense? Because like it makes sense to me when I say it out loud, it like loses its sense. But that's really not the case because it is a small class. It's like my English class has like 14 people maybe, and that might be highballing it. And everyone there is very nice. Everyone like really shares their ideas because in such like a small space, when like there's a discussion, you I don't want to say you feel obligated to talk, but the conversation just like flows a lot better when it's so small. And honestly, I love the discussion based class now. Like, give me a discussion based class and I'll sign up for it ASAP because it's the best. And it helps you get over your fear of public speaking. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. Frederica, can you share a little bit about your experience in the small classroom? I know it helped you to build some nice relationships with faculty, which ultimately has helped you to make that transition into the College of Education, Nursing, and Health Professions.
Sure. So the same way that Serenity had mentioned how like it helps with your public speaking skills, for me, I personally was able to build relationships with my faculty members. So for example, I had a class with Dr. Billard and like usually in like a big setting, like I would be afraid to ask questions, but because I was in a smaller classroom, like I was more bold in terms of approaching questions and it like made things really easier, especially in my bio class. And then in terms of like the faculty in ENHP, like because I built relationships with my professors, such as Dr. Ballard, Professor Beauregard, like I was able to connect with other professors in ENHP. So one example is Professor Oakes. And basically, I forgot which professor that I was with that had introduced me to her, but we had like a brief, like she had like referred me to her, and then I went in not knowing that she would help me in terms of ENHP. And like currently to this day, like she still helps me with opportunities. And like an example of them is SHPEP, which is a summer program where you can go to a university and usually they focus more on the like health side field. So you can go to a university like University of Iowa, UCLA, and do like a research program over there. There is also another program as well that I'm actually about to apply to, which is Health Career Connections, where it's for people who want to do things in public health, and they'll like refer you to a paid internship depending on where you live during the summertime. So that helped me as well. And then with Professor Beauregard, who is in Hillyer, she actually introduced me to tutoring, which or being a tutor. She referred me to that because I had gotten an A in one of her math classes, and I had her for 2 semesters. I had her for the introduction class and then for like MAB 221. You guys probably don't know what that is, but that's calculus. So I had her for that as well. And through there, like she referred me to be a tutor. So through that, like I've just been able to build connections with the faculty and with the staff members, and they've provided opportunities for me. So, and that was just because I was in a small classroom. So there's that.
Thank you. So we heard from Dean Brown of the variety of like supports that are available to our students. So I'd like to be able to hear from them a little bit about the supports that they have received. And some of that is in the form of faculty that we've heard already, the writing lab, the tutoring center, just the small class sizes in general. So Chase, can you talk a little bit to that?
Yes. So, like I briefly mentioned earlier, the faculty here are here to help you. They're here to, they want you to succeed. And for me, faculty relationships was definitely something I wanted, going into college, and knowing that they were very approachable to ask questions. And as you get closer to the professors, they're a resource for, reference letters. They're even a resource after you graduate from Hillyer. um, I even after graduating from Hillyer 2 years ago, I still talk with many faculty in Hillyer College. I have a great relationship with Professor Michelli. So if you're into sociology, I definitely recommend taking her. I've had 5 classes with her. So I definitely highly recommend her to anyone who's interested in sociology classes. I can go in there, ask a simple question, and be in there for an hour, just, catching up with her, really building that relationship. And I feel like that's something that bigger universities or even outside of Hillier, you don't really get because there's more students in the class. So you don't really get that one-on-one attention with that professor.
Thank you. Serenity, could you talk a little bit about your experience going to the writing lab and in the academic strategy courses that Dean Brown mentioned?
Yes. Okay, so starting with the writing lab, I don't think I'm like a bad writer, but like the writing process could definitely be a little tricky. And those rough drafts, when I start, they kick my butt. Okay. So I used to be kind of like scared to show people my rough drafts because they would be like really rough. And it would just be hard for me to like get my like the idea in my head onto the paper. And so I would just be really like shy about it. And then I went to the writing lab one time because Professor Jack, no, Professor Johnson, she was my English teacher, and she was like, "Oh, like just come to the writing lab." And I was like, "I don't know," but I went because I love her, and she convinced me. And it was honestly the best experience because it just really helped me with that paper. Like I was struggling to get it started, and they just like got like I already had it in me, but they just like convinced me that I had it in me. And it was actually Professor Johnson. She's the best. If y'all ever go there, make sure y'all say hi because you will love her. She's the best. So that was really nice. And I go there all the time now. Because it really is helpful. And then as mentioned, there's those ASB or like the academic strategy courses. At first, I was a little hesitant because I've never taken a class like that before. But honestly, they were the best. I'm in my second one now, which is ASB 111. It goes 110, 111. Yeah. So I'm in ASB 111. And it's nice, but ASB 110 was very helpful because that was like I took that my first semester going into Hillier. So it really helped me like see it like talks about things that I struggled with. And then I was like, okay, like that's normal. I'm not a crazy person for not doing good. Like I just didn't understand what to do. And it gave me like really good note taking things. Like there was this thing where you map out the concepts. And at first I was like, okay, like that's such a simple thing. I don't really know like what the big deal was. And then I did it. It was life changing. My notes have never been better. Okay, I don't do it all the time because sometimes I just don't have the time. But when I do it, like it's finals week, so I do it all the time now. Very helpful. Very, it really gets you like memorize the concepts and all that good stuff. And then there's this thing called the Pomodoro method. I'm sure y'all know about it, or maybe y'all don't, because I didn't know about it. But basically, you like set a timer for like I don't know, like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever. And then you'll take a break for, I think, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long. And then just taking those breaks is nice because when I first got to college, I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna study for 8 hours straight. Absolutely not. Not only will you not remember whatever you just read, it's really not good for you. You like burn yourself out. And it's just not healthy, if we're being honest, because we are human beings. We are not like study machines. It's never that serious. So just take a break in between. And I promise you'll remember everything just the same.
Thank you. So as we talked about a little bit, it's not just about what's happening in the classroom. We're trying to prepare you not only to transition into your major school of college, but to prepare you for, the real world after college. So there's a lot of different experiences that you could take advantage of. Chase, do you want to get us started by talking a little bit about the trip to Hawaii that Dean Brown had mentioned before?
Yes, I would love to. This was definitely one of the highlights when I was looking into Hillyer, when they said there was a, you know, trip to Hawaii or this or next year, Puerto Rico. All right, next year, Puerto Rico during spring term.
Yep.
Break, yeah.
Yes.
So I went over winter break for Hawaii, and that was definitely my motivator. Getting to go on that once in a lifetime trip. You get to go explore somewhere you may or may not have been. I personally have never been to Hawaii. And also getting a learning from it. So the trip theme, at least for that year, was people and culture. So we went to a bunch of different temples and culture inspired things. I'm blanking on like what that area is called. But it was really interesting. My favorite part was definitely hiking Diamond Head. That was really cool. And even though it was a school trip, we still had a lot of free time, to be able to go out and do whatever we wanted. Going into it, I definitely thought to myself, there's no way I'm gonna have time to explore the island myself or, get downtime. But we definitely did get downtime. So they really do get that balance between school and I guess you can call it relaxation, exploration of a new place. Sorry, I don't know why I'm blinking. It's 6:30. Um,
That's okay.
it was 3 credits, which was really great. Again, that's also something that doesn't usually happen. You get 3 credits for at least my trip. It was 10 days. And we had about 5 meetings beforehand before we left. So we got to know who we were going with. We got to kind of feel each other out, get each other's personalities. We talked about what we were going to learn about. We did a couple readings and writings just to get our minds into what we'd be talking about on the trip itself. And then throughout the trip, we had a journal every day. And we had a final paper. So it wasn't too rigorous. It was very manageable. And it was definitely an experience I recommend for anyone who gets the opportunity to go.
Thank you. Frederica, can you talk a little bit about your internship experience?
Yes, sure. Okay, so basically, before I even got my internship, I went to career studios, and it's a really helpful resource when you come to campus. Like they'll help you with your resume, they'll help you with your cover letter, and that's what I used in order to get my internship. But they also have this thing where there's a career fair. So like it's usually in GSU or also at the sports center as well. It depends on which one it is. But I went to that fair, and that's how I got my internship. And my internship was Wise Network. And basically, it was a nonprofit organization with women where we just support each other. And I was their social media marketing intern. So basically, what I did was that I wanted to dive with their newsletters and their emails, and I used MailChimp. I'm not sure if you guys know what MailChimp is, but basically, I would have to like send emails and like just I forget the word for it, but it's like a blast. Like you send it out to like multiple people and like at a certain time, like you're supposed to do it. And I was just designing it and assisting in that. And because I already have like some experience in terms of like with writing, like it really helped them. So there's that. And yeah, like the Career Studio has been such a big resource. And like I'm even about to go there again because as I mentioned before, I have like this application due for Health Career Connections, and I want to update my resume here and there. So they'll help me with that. They'll even tweak it, edit it for you. So yeah, there's that.
Great, thank you so much. So I did want to touch a little bit about, right, we're here in Hillyer for the first 2 years of your 4-year degree, and then you're making that transition into your major school or college. So the part of the advantage of being in Hillyer is you're creating this nice foundation for yourself to make that move in. So I'd like to hear from a few of our students, but I thought I'd actually start with Jolene. So Jolene is a sophomore still, so she's going to be making her transition next year. But I thought it would be interesting to hear from her as a sophomore right now, about maybe how she's feeling about that upcoming transition.
So I am definitely a bit nervous for the transition because I know that because we have to do general education requirements in Hillier, we don't get a lot of classes to do with our major as much as other colleges get to, but we still get to have classes in our major. We just have more on like general education. So I'll be taking like an English class, a science class, ANSB class, and then I'll be taking maybe two classes for psych. And I was nervous about doing mostly general education requirements and then graduating at the end of this year and then doing mostly psych classes. But the more I the closer I am to coming to the end of this year, the more classes I've been taking. So, my first semester freshman year, I took a lot of general education requirements, and now next semester is my last semester in Hillier. I'm registered for five psych classes next semester, and one of them isn't in Hillier, which I can very much appreciate because in the Hillier program you do take a lot of classes in the building, and but Hillier lets you take classes outside. So I'm taking abnormal psychology next semester in the West Hall, East Hall. Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. But I think it'll like the transition will be more smooth than I first anticipated.
Great, thank you. Chase, could you maybe talk a little bit? Because I know sometimes when you hear, oh, you're taking all these general education courses that you might not be getting a feel for like your major areas. And that you might be locked into what you were thinking. But at the university, you do not need to declare your major till the end of your sophomore year. So I thought it'd be helpful to hear from you, Chase, because I know you made a transition thinking that you were going to be in one major, going to another, and what that was like.
Yes. So I have always been interested in exercise science. Doing something in that field always brought my interest. Never really thought I'd do something else because, I love helping people, especially through sports. But after I started taking classes, I'm so sorry. I realized that it wasn't really the right fit for me. But taking all those general education classes the first 2 years in Hillier, is what allowed me to explore different areas. So, I got a taste of history, English, sociology, I got some science, math. It was really all over the board, which was really cool for me to, again, um, get different experience with a bunch of different areas that I never thought I'd even want to study in college. But the gen eds did force me to do that, which I'm very grateful for. Um, so when I was thinking about what major I wanted to go into, I was remembering how much I enjoyed my intro to sociology class, again, shouting out Professor Michelli, um, and decided to explore that area more. And that's why I became a sociology major at this point because of the general education class, because I got an overview of what it would look like. And even though I actually switched last semester, so my second semester junior year is when I first started taking classes within the sociology major. But because I was able to get all of those general education requirements, I'm still able to graduate on time, which I thought was really beneficial from Hillier as something that not really any other college in this university gets, because you're taking a lot of your major specific classes at the same time of gen eds. It a lot of your credits won't necessarily transfer as they do in Hillier, which really helps students kind of get a little bit more wiggle room throughout their experience here.
Thank you. Frederica, can you speak a little bit to it? Now, your first semester of your junior year, you're in the College of Education, Nursing, and Health Professions, and I understand that you've taken some study tips and tricks from Hillyer with you.
Yes, so as I mentioned before, I was in Professor Bullett's class, so that was for biology. And what he would do is, even though like some professors or most of your professors aren't like this, he took like we weren't allowed to have our phones out and like we would get penalized for it, but it actually really helped because what we would do is that we would have to print out our slides and then like on the printer like you can have an option where you put lines next to the slides, and like that allowed me to take notes and I actually paid attention, and because I took notes like I was able to do flashcards, and usually like he rewarded us for it, like he would give us extra credit for the flashcards, so he would add that to your exam. Like let's say like it was 10 points, it would be plus 10 points to your exam. Those were easy 10 points and it actually helps you on the exam as well. And I do that for my classes as well, especially with genetics and anatomy and physiology. Anatomy and physiology is a lot of memorization. So I do need the flashcards in order to like memorize the information. So that actually really helped me. And then also in my academic strategies course, which we mentioned before, the ASB 1111 and 1110, we went over note taking and how to skim a reading. In genetics, like for your homework assignments, you have a lot of readings and like you have other classes too. So you want to be able to prioritize it, but also do it in a short amount of time, like work efficiently, work smarter, not harder. So using like the tips that I learned before and how to skim a reading, like that really helped. Like for example, like I remember Professor Gale, she would mention how like you can read the first line of each paragraph and how like reading the introduction and the conclusion is really important to really grasp like the essence of a chapter reading. So yeah, those are some tips that I was able to take into ENHP as I'm in my first semester of my junior year.
Great, thank you. So we do have another topic for the students to talk about, more of the student life piece, because it's not just about your academics. But I do also want to give you all an opportunity, if you do have any questions, to put those in the chat now. So maybe while you're thinking about it, I know it takes a minute to type, maybe we'll talk a little bit of student life. And then as I see the questions populate in the chat, we'll switch to those. But Serenity, can I maybe start with you? I am, making that transition into college, wherever you end up, can feel a little worrisome. Are you going to make friends? How do you meet people? Can you share a little bit about your experience and give the students some advice?
I can. So coming into college, I mean, Hillyer or no Hillyer, I was always nervous because I had the same, like, I went to like high school in a very small town. So I had the same friends all my life. I never had to worry about making new friends because they're always there. So when I came to college, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make new friends? I was scared because I have bad anxiety. And honestly, it's not that bad. It's in like a week. It's gonna be a couple days to realize it's really not that bad. You could make a friend with anybody. No, because at the end of the day, everyone is in the same boat, especially like freshman year, but even besides freshman year, no one knows anybody. I mean, maybe some people have like people that they already knew or like they came to school with, but that's really not that like, I mean, it's not likely, but it's really not too like often people do that. So you could honestly just like, you could tell someone that you like their freckles and y'all are going to become best friends by the next day. I promise you. It's very simple. And to give y'all a little personal anecdote, I have this girl, her name is Reagan, and she's in two of my classes, my English class and my math class. Sorry, y'all. My mind's a little blank. It's been a long week, a long day. But anyway, and I had never seen her before a day in my life. And one day we just really started talking because we were both really hot and sweaty after walking across campus. And I made a comment about how hot I was. And she said that she was really hot too. And boom, best friends. And now we talk every day and study together. And I love her to pieces. And every time I get hot and sweaty, I think of Reagan. And that's just such a wonderful sentiment. Because I get hot and sweaty a lot because the walk across campus is not fun. And to add another testament to that, roommates can be very scary, but I have the best roommate. Say hi, Jill. Hi. That was Jill. She's the best roommate in the whole wide world. And I'm probably going to kidnap her and take her home with me so she can live under my bed and I'll feed her food. But yeah. Also, some friendly advice. Please be kind to yourself because college is a very hard place. And whether you have friends, no friends, whether you talk to like a plant or something, you have to be nice to yourself because I was really mean to myself for the longest time. I was so rude to myself. Like whenever I failed a test, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm so dumb. I need to drop out of college immediately and start like doing something else. But no, that is not the case. Everyone fails a test or fails a class. It is really not the end of the world. It is going to get better. One grade is not to define you. My bio teacher taught me that because I got an 83 on a test one time. And I know that sounds good now, but no one wants a doctor who gets 83s, okay? I don't want to do surgeries on babies. I'm not going to operate on a baby when I get an 83 on a bio test. So I was freaking out. I thought the road was over. And he told me, he looked me in my eyes and he looked at me and he said, "Be quiet. It's not that bad." And I said, "Okay." And I stopped crying. I wiped my tears and I got out of his office because I was embarrassed. But he was right. It's really not that bad. It's going to be okay. So yeah, that's my little spiel.
Well, thank you for sharing some of those personal anecdotes there. Jolene, can you maybe talk a little bit about sort of some of the things that the university does for students to help them feel more engaged and part of a community?
Yeah, so I feel like the campus is very good at taking in suggestions of what people want. I know last year there wasn't anything Thanksgiving related on campus, and personally, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because I very much like to eat food. So they ended up this year doing Thanksgiving dinner and commons, which I was very, very happy about. And then they did a PDR night Thanksgiving. So once a month, you can sign up for this like private dining experience that has a menu and stuff for students, which is very fun. My roommate got me into one the first month of college. It was great. So they had a similar thing for Friendsgiving, and it was like a lot more, like it was in GSU. It was like maybe 70 people. It was very fun. Like, so it was cool to see how the school responded to people wanting Thanksgiving, because there are some people who also have to stay here over Thanksgiving break because, you know, like they can't fly across the country to go home for a week because they can't afford it. So it was nice that they like acknowledged that. And also we have this thing called midnight breakfast after we do finals. I don't remember what day, if it's on um the like no class day in between the last day of classes and final starting, but we get midnight breakfast and it's very fun. It's just kind of to celebrate all like the work that we've done and stuff. So like they like to give us a break. So the doors open technically at 11:30, but they like there's professors cooking in the commons. There's like there's just so many people. It's one of the best things I love about this college that they do that, because it gave me the opportunity to like acknowledge that I did the hard work, be with my friends, enjoy the food, take the moment to be with my friends like before we had to go on break. It was great.
That sounds good. Chase, can you talk a little bit about what there is to do around campus?
Yes. So a lot of people wonder if freshmen can have cars on campus. I'm sure some of you guys were going to ask that if it didn't covered, so I thought I'd cover it now. So freshmen are allowed to have cars on campus. I haven't had a car all 4 years. I know a lot of people who don't have cars. I know some who do, but there is definitely a lot of stuff to do around campus. We also have a shuttle system that takes students off campus. They take people to Blueback Square. Blueback Square is, think of it as a place to get your, nope, I flipped, for some reason I was flipping these two places around. Think of Blueback Square as yes, think of Blueback Square as downtown West Hartford. And we also go to Bishop's Corner and think of that as a place to get your necessities. So there you'll see a Whole Foods, a Target, a Walgreens, a CVS, a Marshalls. But the shuttle will take you to the mall, West Farms Mall. I believe it's like 20 minutes away, so it's pretty easy. They'll take you to an art store also. So if you're an art student or even anyone who has creative abilities, which I do not have, but really appreciate everyone who is artistic. They do take you to the art store, which is really cool. And the shuttle system is included in tuition, so you don't have to worry about paying any additional fees, having a bus ticket, having cash on you. It is totally included within tuition, which is also really great. And then a lot of the clubs sometimes will go off campus. So we do have over 100 clubs here on campus. If you want to start one, all you need are a few signatures and a faculty advisor. We have clubs from a Taylor Swift club. So the most simplest things can create a club, to an outdoors club. So the outdoors club, they'll go on skiing trips. Sometimes other clubs will go to other different kinds of events. They really try to get everyone involved on campus and off campus, so they definitely have a lot of opportunities for people.
Great, thank you. And we're going to end with Frederica. Frederica, can you talk a little bit about, getting involved on campus? I know Chase briefly mentioned the club fair, which I know you are involved with a couple of organizations. And also, Frederica lived in Hawk Hall, excuse me, her first year. And Hawk Hall is just for first year students. So maybe you could talk a little bit about those two things.
Okay, I'll start off with Club Fair. Club Fair is a great way to get involved. Just in general, like I know Serenity had mentioned like making friends. Like that's how you can also make friends. It's a lot of people, I can't lie. But like you can randomly run into someone and just start a conversation. That's how you make friends. But usually at Club Fair, like that's where all the sorry, slip of the tongue. All the organizations come together and they present like what their org stands for. And like for example, there's the African Student Union, there's the Black Student Union, there's a pre-law society. Like there's literally an organization for every single thing. So I'm a member of the Black Student Union and I'm also secretary for the African Student Union. And basically, like for the Black Student Union, every year there's like this annual fashion show where you can actually be a model for it. You just have to try out, and if you make it, you make it. And then for the African Student Union, we just come together to have fun on Thursdays. You do not have to be African to join. Like most of my friends aren't African, they still come. We have like this big event called Royal Roots where you're able to taste African food. You just come together. It's a gala. It's a fun event. So there's that. And then I'll go into depth about Hawk Hall. Honestly, I miss Hawk Hall. I really love Hawk Hall. Like, if I could be a RA of Hawk Hall, I would, which you can apply to be a RA, guys. So yeah. But I was on the wellness floor and basically I had to do an application for it. It seems tedious, but it's not. Like, I really promise you. Like, for my prompt, like it was based off of something that I was interested. It just goes into depth about why you want to be on that floor, what it represents to you. So there is that. In terms of the room, like I personally like the rooms, like the spacing, very nice and big, you know. The walls very presentable. You can put up anything that you want to do. And then you also get involved with like your floor. So for the wellness floor, we had like meetings with our RAs. And it was just a nice time. That's how I met most of my friends, even with my roommate. Like that's how I met her too. Like Hall Call was just the best. Like the community events, like A1. The same thing can happen in when you move back to D complex or the villages. Like you all have RAs and we all have events. So there's that, and that's a way to get involved and build friendships.
Great. Thank you, Frederica. And those floors will change every year. So there's STEM, there's honors, there's, as Frederica mentioned, wellness, social justice. So depending on what you're interested in, you can apply to that particular floor. So I didn't see any questions come in through the chat, so I'm gonna make an assumption we answered your questions for you. But I'm gonna go ahead now and put my contact information in the chat so that you do have it, as well as I know tonight people are coming from different major areas, so you could reach out to the admission manager of your particular school or college's major area so that you have that. And like I had said, I would be more than happy to coordinate a visit if you'd like to come to campus for the first time, or maybe you'd like to visit again. We can connect you with faculty. Also, I can help, depending on your major area too, to connect with that faculty member as well. Dean Brown, any final words before we hop off tonight?
Thank you for joining us, and a special thank you to our students. This is an example of the wonderful students that we have here at Hillyer, and I'm very proud of the work you just did. Thank you.